Good evening, everyone. You know, Lois, I swear I just saw you just a few days ago.
Yes, that is so true.
We just connected on last Thursday for an amazing topic
Yes.
on Jamaica. And here we are again coming back, and we wanted to make sure to get this in, right, for the New Year's especially, but we don't want this just to be a New Year thing. We want it to be throughout the year. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us at Caribbean Diaspora Vibes. My name is Donna Morton, real estate broker of Florida Summer Homes Realty, president of Caribbean American Diaspora Alliance, president of Women of Culture Incorporated, mindset coach, spiritual mentor at Inner Vibes Consultant, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to again welcome you all for an amazing night tonight. How are you doing, Mr. Lewis?
I am doing well. We thank the Lord for this day. It is 73 degrees outside, and we're just glad for the new weather, the change.
Yes. Louis, can we turn your mic up just a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Can you hear me better?
Yes, much better, much better.
Awesome.
We've had some crazy weather. What was it? Sunday, we were at 32 degrees in Central Florida.
Yes, threatening with the wind chill factor. Threatening with the wind chill factor at 38. Mm-hmm. It was a threat for me. It was the threat of the wind chill. That's what it was for me.
That was crazy. So tonight, everyone. And Louis, go ahead and do your radio ID, please.
Yes, so we want to welcome everyone, all our listeners on CRR Network. My name is Louis Witter. I'm the program director here, and it's good to be with you tonight. We hope all is well with you out there in Radio Land, wherever you're listening from in the diaspora and around the world. Keep it locked and welcome to Caribbean Diaspora Vibes with our special guest this evening as we go into holistic health, Donna?
Yes.
Yes.
Holistic health and, health and wellness. Yes. Right? We want to talk to you before we have to bring on the doctors. Sometimes we have our medical professionals on, and then it's this meds and that meds. So majority of the time, prevention is best. Yep. And holistic is something that people don't usually think about, and sometimes just the word it sounds woo-woo or something, but it's just natural. It's just natural ways that we can heal our mind, heart, and soul. Really, it's on all three levels. So tonight, kicking it off, as I join in with her, is Miss Belinda Webb Winbish, and she's a health and wellness coach. She's a certified yoga teacher, and so much more. One of these days, we'll have to do a yoga class on here and do some stretching.
Now a little bit, but not really.
Right. Welcome, Belinda. I met Belinda recently at our at Three Mask, and we just kicked off. Just the vibes was right there. And right in time for her to come and talk about holistic health and wellness. So take it away, Belinda. Give us the tips 2024, what we need to be doing.
They've been saying for 2024, be more. And I'm okay with that. I'll match that energy any day. So we have 2024 right here at our feet. And there's so many things we can do all year long. We don't have to have a resolution. We can just take these little steps and incorporate them and sprinkle into our lives. Holistic steps that'll help us be better, mind, body, and spirit. And that's what I want to share. Just a couple things to move people toward leveling up, feeling better, looking better, living their best lives. So that's what we want to talk about today.
Amen. Yes. What do you want to kick it off with? And then we'll see what you have, and then I'll touch base on what I have.
All right. Let's go back to the roots. What is holistic wellness? People ask all the time. Now, there's a definition that Webster gives, but it gets kind of muddy. Holistic wellness is simply looking at the whole person. That's it, not just looking at the physical part of you. We're a whole person, we're mind, body, and spirit. So when we simply look at the whole person, including all those little aspects of that, that's the holistic point of view, because each is interconnected and they talk to each other. So when we look at the whole person, we're looking at the way to be holistic. That's the first thing. So it's not a woo-woo, purple smoke and mirrors and all that. It's just looking at the mind, body, and spirit, because they all affect each other in a natural way. That's the definition for tonight.
And you, I hope you hear that. Mind, body, it's we, you know, without one, we have to balance mind, body, or mind, heart. So,
Spirit and
you know,
soul.
it's interchangeable, but yeah, so you can't be just, you're exercising, you're eating, you're vegan, you're plant-based, you're doing all these things, but then you're stressing.
That's just one way, because Western medicine traditionally sees that as just one way. If you're physically well, or health just looks like the physical part. But there's 8 different pillars that support the whole body, the wellness part. So when we look at the trends with the historical way of Western way, they say if you have good health, or you're good physically without any symptoms or any illnesses, you know, you're well. But that's just one part of the story, one part of the story. So we're going to transcend our view, look at it a little bit different, and say, wait, health is not the absence of illness and disease. It's making sure that we have health and wellness in our physical being, in our mental being, and our emotional being, and our environmental being, and our financial being. There's 8 different ways that we want to make sure we have wellness across the board. Then you can start to check off the boxes. Oh, I'm well in my environment. I'm well in my social life. I'm well in my spiritual life. I'm well in all these different 8 areas. And I think I'm gonna hit them one more time because I don't want to miss it. So here we go. Let's run through the 8. Mental, physical, emotional, financial, environmental, social, and occupational. Now, when you're at a 10, 8, 7, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, then you're well. That's what it looks like. So we want to make sure that we don't really take that traditional view, but we want to say, okay, just because I'm not absent of illnesses doesn't mean I'm well, because you could be fully stressed out, thinking you're well, not showing any symptoms, but there's symptoms. That cortisol level is really high in your belly, and you're not settling, you're not sleeping at night. So you're not necessarily well there, but that's what we look at in holistic wellness. And I'm so glad that we can have this broad spectrum and make sure we can touch on each and every one to work on being well at different times.
Miss Belinda, your title is Health and Wellness Coach, correct?
You got it.
Explain to our audience what is in total that you do. What is a health and wellness coach, and what can people expect from you when they come to see you at the height of your business?
Okay. As a health and wellness coach in different facets, I'll guide people to have abundance in those areas I just talked about. So if we came one-on-one and you would say to me, I have high blood pressure, I'm not sure what's going on, we'll look at the social part of your life. Maybe your job is stressing you out. We'll look at your financial stress or no stress there. We'll look at your occupation. Well, maybe your environment is stressing you out. So we'll just be able to look at a whole life assessment on your life and actually just assess and audit where you are, if you're in deficit and you're in abundance. And we'll talk about the ways to bring an even keel and balance to those areas to remove that stress. So that's a one-on-one. You say, I have a high blood pressure, and you come and bring all your pills, and we'll look at that, because I'm an herbalist just as well. We'll look at the pills you're taking them, and we'll do a ditch and switch. Well, you really might not need that high blood pressure medicine. You might just need to eat a grapefruit every day, because that'll help bring down the blood pressure. So there's different ways that we tackle your wellness based on what you come with. So that's a one-on-one session as a wellness coach. As a wellness coach in wellness retreats, we'll bring all the people together and we'll focus on wellness. So we'll have times where we have meditation. We'll do grounding walks in nature. We'll be able to look at our lives and sit still and hear who we are and what we're trying to do. We'll practice gratefulness. We'll practice inspiration. We'll encourage each other. We come together in the wellness retreats where everyone comes and pour into each other. It's a give and take situation, and you leave better.
Yeah.
Then wait, there's more. No, I go on and on.
Do you find that our people take advantage of these services that you offer? Tell us about that. Does people call? Because it's a good thing that you do. It's wonderful, and it's a good part for people to look. But do we really call you up and sit in with you and take advantage of what you offer? Do you find what percentage of us sees you on a regular basis?
I've been seeing a higher moving percentage going up, about 23%, and the figures always change, the numbers change, are seeking alternative medicine. And when I say medicine, it's really holistic practicing. They're coming because they want to not pay the copay. They want to do preventative work. So they'll walk into my office and say, well, this is what's going on. This is what I'm taking. Can you help me make a shift?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to take 27 pills every day and be with this 1 or 2 or 3 pills for the rest of my life. So we're coming in slowly but surely because it's being sensationalized. Holistic care has been so sensationalized. So people are starting to pay attention a little bit, and I'm grateful. So as opposed to going in and paying the doctor bills, rather, I meant to say it this way, as opposed to paying the doctor bills, they'd rather see us than pay the copay. So we'll get right before that copay with preventative measures, which is some of the things we'll talk about more in detail here, before you have to go and repair and try and restore your health when it's gotten to side effects and I'm taking this and I need to get this type of care and the illnesses are being developed and disease has kicked in. So they're slowly but surely coming in, and I'm ready for them. Arms are always open.
Yeah, I think the consciousness is definitely rising in this area, right? People are slowly, you still got to kind of hit them over the head, but people are slowly getting this piece. They're understanding that a relaxed mind, a peaceful soul, a joyful spirit, these are all important things. And all of these areas lead to elevated health and wellness in all areas of our lives, like you mentioned, Belinda, in our health, our money, our relationships, our career, education, all of that. And all these verses really are embedded in the Bible, where it talks about the mind, the corrupt mind, having a cheerful spirit. It's really, if you start to look at the Bible differently as an empowerment tool to even guide us with our wealth and our wellness, you will find a plethora of information, but you have to look at it that way. And it tells us how, when you have what happens when we have a cheerful heart, right? It replenishes us. And then what happens when we have bitterness? It dries up our bones. It dries up the bones. It dries up the money, the health, the happiness, everything.
Absolutely.
So I know Belinda has some tips. Can I read them, Belinda?
Go ahead. You have all the details over there. Absolutely.
Okay, so she's got incorporate rest into your day. All right. Let's touch on that. Incorporate rest into your day.
Okay. When we incorporate rest into our day, most people think it's sleep. We're talking more than sleep. We're talking about making sure that we're resting. And because there's 7 ways to actually rest, we want to understand that. Break that down a little bit and make sure that we know, okay, I have tons to accomplish, and it's difficult to slow down for sure. It's difficult to slow down, but it's so important that you slow down and spend some time resting, because rest and work, they're partners. They're symbiotic. If you rest well, you work well. When you work well, you're surely going to rest well. So I can even name a couple of the types of rest, because sometimes people think, well, I can work really hard and I can make up my sleep. You really got to balance that high and that low. So the better you're at resting, the better you'll be at working. The different types of rest I buy into, it's all of them. I'll be fast with this. There's creative rest, because they all support well-being. You have creative rest. And that kind of looks like writer's block, if you will. So the answer to that is when there's creative rest needed, just get into nature. Start to ground, just sit by the beach, sit near the rocks, and just chill out and look at nature and see what nature has to offer. There's mental rest, and that usually looks like brain fog. I just can't think about it anymore. I just need to, my mind needs to be clear. And that's the answer to that is do something fun. The third one is physical rest, and that's literally laying your body down and doing nothing. The next one is spiritual rest, because some people may be thinking, well, what's the point of all of this? What am I doing here? And you want to return to yourself, your sense of purpose and belonging, and know the answers to those questions. So those are some of the types of rest that you need. Sometimes we need a social rest. Me time. Me time is important, and that's okay to be alone, but not be lonely. Right? Then we have two more. Emotional rest. One of my favorites. Sometimes you have to sit with those emotions, listen to those emotions, feel those emotions, and be okay with those emotions. And the last one I'll mention is a sensory rest, which I rest from often. No noise, no lights, no moving, no nothing. I need to literally shut it all down, stop all the external clutter, and just meditate.
What is that one? The last one? Repeat it.
The last one is sensory.
Sensory.
SENSORY, sensory rest. I don't want to hear talking, no lights, no music, no nothing. Just move all of that clutter out of the way. Get all of that external clutter and shut it down. And you will find yourself rested in more ways than one. And that stuff is for free. You don't have to go to the doctor and get that, because most times traditionally they won't tell you, you really just need to rest. It's so vital to our well-being overall. And that points to and touches on the physical, the mental, the spiritual, all those areas are touched. And that's why holistic wellness is so beautiful, because everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big ways that we can take care of ourselves. That's one of my top tips. Rest.
And we live in a world where team no sleep is pushed, right?
Right.
And we're not understanding the devastation that's happening to our bodies. We need to sleep, because that is how we rejuvenate. We need to rest our mind. We need to social media, all the things going off. We're watching. I literally go on Instagram to do like something, and I forget why I even went on there, because I got distracted with the video and and all of that. Same thing on Facebook or TikTok. So there's a lot of distractions. Today I posted about make sure you're not spending too much time with social media and the distraction. It is really a setup distraction, because what that does is it distracts you from your me time with God. Absolutely. Which is that stillness, that place where you need some stillness, some quiet, some thoughts just with you and your creator. And if you're busy all day long, we've got our jobs, we've got families, so we really don't get a prayer. So we say this quick little 1-minute prayer right before we fall asleep. We haven't spent any time. We haven't spent any time even formulating our thoughts, our imagination of what we want from life. And so then we get upset, we're miserable, we're frustrated because life isn't bringing us what we want, but we're not carving out any me time with God. And I always tell people, put God on your to-do list. All right. Yes, you have to do it. And throughout the day.
Absolutely.
If you do that throughout the day, if you take little 2 minutes, I say vitamin G.
Yeah, I love it.
If you take little vitamin G's throughout the day, a little 2 minutes here, shower, washing dishes, driving, and just give thanks and just be in that space of you and God. Just thank you. Thank you. Even for the hot water.
Donna, just to confirm what you said, the Lord said, come to me.
Oh, come on.
Rest.
Yeah, that's what he
I
said.
mean, you don't want more than that. Come to me and I will give you rest.
Yes.
So that is confirming what you say, that we need to put in that spiritual rest in everything that we do. It covers and encompass everything. It encompasses the spiritual, the physical, I mean the social, the emotional, the sorry, the SORs, the sorry rest, that have to be part of what we do every day. And I think just to confirm what you say, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
It's the direction. It gives you the direction. So when you said, Donna, in the morning, even before your feet, what do people say in the words, before my feet hit the floor, I will seek you.
Yes.
You set your day up. You get to get direction from what to do, what to say, and what not to do. And he is there waiting. People go, well, it's kind of distant. Well, just sit down and ask. They say the word says you ask not, for you have not. So you ask and you tell and you'll hear, and it will guide your day. Afternoon come, talk a little bit more. It's a constant conversation, and it'll change the landscape of your life when you talk to. I've seen it and I've done it, and it makes such a difference. It's a part of that holistic health, the creator, the one who made you is the one who knows you best. So you can put all that clutter out, what people are saying and what they're doing and what's trending, and ask yourself, okay, who am I? What am I supposed to do? Nobody else has the authority to tell you who you are, but the one who made you. Get your directions from the blueprint, and it'll change it. It'll change your life for the better.
And it brings such a peace. So that's the other piece of it, is that personal relationship building brings like a partnership. So now you don't feel all alone. You have this partnership that you're like, okay, God, okay, I understand, I get it. You see, and then that takes the stress off.
It does.
It takes the stress off your mind, takes the stress off your heart. Because do we understand what stress is? And the damage that stress alone causes so much.
So many illnesses, so many symptoms, and this stress. It can be from toxic people. It can be from your environment. It can be from so many different places. And stress is tricky because it wears different masks. You think, well, I'm not really stressing my finances. Well, that's not affecting, the belly aches and the pain in the arm. It can. Stress brings on illness and brings on symptoms that we think that it's not connected to. But when you look at it through holistic lenses, know that part of your life can be causing that arm ache, that inability to sleep. So don't pop the pill now to go to sleep, but let's uncover that and let's sit down and talk about all the areas of your life, and we'll be able to pinpoint what's going on. And then you can remediate it without it causing so much trauma to the body and illnesses and dysfunction and dis-ease. So stress is that's the biggest one, I think.
So Belinda, just like we said, we can make ourselves sick with our thoughts and our emotions. So those two things are very critical, people. Thoughts and emotions, because that is like the science formula. In science class, you can put one substance, but it doesn't do anything unless you have the second one, then you have a reaction. Okay, so thoughts combined with deep emotions. And so that's why fear is something that if you think you're gonna crash, you can kill yourself from the fear.
Absolutely.
So if we can make ourselves sick from stress, understand that God made us that we can heal ourselves from loving thoughts.
That's right.
From faith.
That's right. From gratefulness.
These are things that we don't even think about. We can reverse things in our lives because those two things are causing an emotional, a chemical. Stress is a chemical that goes into our bodies, right? Fear is a chemical that goes into our bodies. Worry unforgiveness. Don't even talk about unforgiveness. I don't know about you, but I know Caribbean people, they don't forgive. They'll take things to the grave. Right, Louis?
Yes, but true.
They don't forgive. So all these things are causing a chemical reaction in our bodies that destroys, breaks us down. And then we start, and it could be grief. You would think like, oh, I'm not thinking negative. It could be just some worrying about our children, our financial state, worrying about what's going on in the world, all these things. That's why you have to be careful what you're watching, what you're listening to, because you are downloading fear at a high rate right now.
That's absolutely true, 100%. And when we take those thoughts that are negative, they're toxic to our bodies, 100%. The cortisol builds up in the belly, and you're wondering why there's disease and stress and those symptoms that may look like your headache, you have migraines, and then there's a pill for that. But actually, how about meditate, be grateful, start that gratefulness journal, kick it off in the morning with why you're grateful in the shower. You mentioned it, the hot water. Be grateful the fact that you have your breath. Take another deep breath, maybe jot down some ways to be happy and turn those into affirmations. I am strong. I am worthy of love. I am kind. I'm an overcomer. All his words that the Bible gives strengthens us and makes us conquerors. So they don't sit in our soul. They don't sit in our body and keep us hostage and cause disease over here. So those positive affirmations and being thankful and being grateful and repeating that throughout the day definitely brings the antibodies up to fight off your to make your immune system stronger. They reduce the blood pressure. It's so many different benefits from being grateful, practicing kindness, and even doing deep breath breathing. So all of those things are intertwined for holistic care, and they matter. And we're not taught that. I didn't grow up deep breathing. I grew up crying and going somewhere sitting in a corner. But if I knew deep breathing, what that did, it would have changed the path of my life way to wellness early on.
You know, how often would you recommend meditation for us, for people? I know as a Caribbean man, I don't do too much of that. And most of us, we don't into this meditation thing, but this is a very important part of your being as well, to meditate, take time out. And of course it would be under one of these, maybe emotion or something, rest. But talk about meditation for a minute.
Donna?
Yeah, go ahead, Belinda.
So let's switch it over to one of the tips that I share. It's practically, most of it's nourish your mind. So you want to make sure that you have, when there's negative thoughts, you want to counteract them with positive thoughts. So out with those negative thoughts, in with powerful positive thoughts. When you meditate, easy, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, 2 minutes, whatever you have, it's all good. So if you were to just quiet yourself and start to deep breathe. And that's not taking a shallow breath, what we traditionally take, but just start to breathe where your belly rises and falls. You can feel your breath entering your nose and exiting your nose. And if you choose a scripture that says, I can do all things through God, through Christ that strengthens me, then you just meditate and listen to that in your body, out. On your inhale, I am more than a conqueror. We'll go with that one. Exhale, I'm more than a conqueror. You inhale, I have peace. You exhale, I am peace. You inhale, today will be peaceful. You exhale, today will be peaceful. You inhale, I am loved. And then you can simply exhale, quiet. That's meditation. Mm-hmm. Those positive thoughts are going to bring and stimulate those antibodies and that dopamine that's going to reduce some pain and some inflammation when you're breathing, deep breathing, and when you're practicing that positivity. It connects with the body because the blood pressure says, oh, I'm more than a conqueror. I'm peaceful. The blood pressure starts to go down.
Right.
When you deep breathe, all the organs get more red blood cells full of oxygen, and that starts to regenerate the red blood cells because that's the oxygen is needed, the red blood cells, they go, hey, we need more oxygen. So they start to wake up. So that simple step, those simple steps of inhaling and exhaling, saying positive thoughts, pushing out the negative thoughts, and just being still and focusing on those words and that breath is simple meditation.
Awesome.
You
All
know, I have my me time with God. I have like a daily schedule, and I do, you know, there is a verse also in the Bible that says, capture your thoughts. Capture your thoughts. These verses that are in the Bible are, when you start to get on this search, you start to see these things. You're like, what? Because it's really for our protection.
Oh, come on.
It's for our protection. It's not just there. And the Bible also say, be not just hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. That means capture your thoughts. Yes. So when you're in that meditation, those thoughts are gonna come. Capture it. What are you thinking about? Okay, I see you. Okay. Now practice, like Belinda says, practice positive thoughts. And this is not just for yourself. You can do this. I call it spiritual therapy for your children, your loved ones that you see are hurting. Something's going on with them. Sit quietly and you think about them and you see them from a loving space. So instead of now worrying about them, oh, this boy, this give me so much problem, this somebody at work. See them in a light from a place of love. God bless you. I bless you in all areas. I bless your mind. I bless your actions. You do that silently.
Bring peace into the
right. So you can do this not just for yourself, but you're doing it for your loved ones, for your community, for the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because what we're seeing right now is a very high percentage of fear, worry, hate on a high, because we have social media too. So everything is like 10x on negativity. And but we can make a difference by getting together and just be in silence and just think good things. The Bible says, think on good things, whatever is good, true, just. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing, and we're going around everything else and not practicing these things. The number one verse that in the Bible, that the best commandment says, love God with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul. That means, again, everything's comes back to mind and heart. When the mind and heart, that formula, guess what? The soul changes, the character. So when you see people that say, oh, you know, I'm changed, or even if they're in the church religiously, and you don't see that their character is different, it's because they have not renewed the mind. The Bible says, renew your mind. Transformation comes by renewal of the mind. Again, we keep hearing these words, mind and heart. Guard your heart, right? If you type in how many times mind and heart is spoken in the Bible, you'll see hundreds. All right. So silent positive thoughts, gratitude meditation, and you can pray just by saying, thank you, God. That's it. In that meditation time. Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude journal is important, because you can then write down the things that you're grateful for and you can see it. And there's something about writing and then reading and listening. When you do things on different levels and not just one level, you hear it, you see it, you write it, you speak it. That's how we learn. And then the silent prayer is just silently praying over your life, over your health, over your money, over your whatever it is that you want, and forgiveness. A lot of people right now are sick because of unforgiven. They're holding grudges for 30 years. Families are not speaking to each other. But yet we're filling up churches 3 times a week, but we're not speaking to each other. So that's why I even got on this journey, because I saw that in my own personal life, and I'm like, something doesn't balance. But it also came around to say these things are they're health benefits. So all this time, the Bible is really telling us how to protect, how to have an abundant and fulfilling life here on this earth.
Got it.
And we're not even looking at it. We have so much trust in the doctors. Go and give a pill.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I know you talked
what?
about removing toxic people and substance from your life. I know you touched on being happy and grateful. Do something you love. What would you say? Do something you love.
You work hard, you play hard. If it brings joy to you and it lines up with doing what's right and doing what matters, do it. If there's a health benefit to it, do it. If it hits any one of those areas, do it. And you can do that. And that's just not for once in a while. That's every day. You want to build those habits and those routines, as I mentioned, and you want to really master your everyday habits and set those in stone. And of course, they can change, not necessarily stone, but just build daily habits. You do this in the AM. I pray in the AM. I make sure I have water in my lemon in my water in the AM. I'm praying in the AM. I'm being grateful in the AM. Write it down. In the afternoon, maybe I rest in this aspect. And then in the evening, I go ahead and I talk to God all the time. And then maybe here, I just review the day in the evening, what didn't go well. And then I talk about and I speak life into what's going to happen tomorrow. If you put that on repeat 7 days a week, you can track the change and you can track the progress, and you will surely love it. Difference, make a huge difference. Small things, and they're not hard. And again, require a copay. They don't require a copay, guys. They don't. So I'm for that, building habits and routines. It makes a difference. Can I touch on having an open mind and keep that open mind?
Sure. Louis, did you have a quick question?
No, I wanted to expand some on the recreational rest. A lot of us in our world, because we are consuming so many distractions, social media, yes, but because of our life, we have to hustle, we have to work, we have to do 2 jobs, we have kids, we have all that stuff. We really don't get to be creative or take advantage of those recreational rests that is really necessary for us, which, as you mentioned, going to the beach and going to the beach and the water, just being there has so many benefits for our body, our mind, and our spirit. When you go to the beach, you're going to where the Spirit of God came from, because before this world was formed, guess what it was? It was all water.
Right.
And so there have to be some spiritual connection there in the water. Things like even just nature walk, going in the forest. I mean, look on this big gigantic tree and hugging the tree and talking and just really being in that moment. I think as a people, we miss out because some of us don't even want to put our feet down on the ground. We don't do that, and we're missing so much benefit from doing that, from going outside. I got the opportunity to make my backyard my living room. I don't walk on my backyard with my shoes anymore. That's my living room. When I'm in my house on the concrete, that's when I put my slippers on. But I take my backyard, my side yard, I run, I walk the moment I get up, so we don't get the chance to do that. So I think this is a big area that we're missing out on, that recreational rest that we really need as a people, because God made us in that nature to enjoy nature. And a lot of us here in America, we're afraid of it.
I think a couple days ago, Lois, I wrote, the more civilized we get, the more unhealthy we get. Why? We connect less with nature. We are losing personal connection with each other. We walk less and sit more. Our food isn't really food. We are more stressed trying to maintain a busy lifestyle, like you said, and we don't have fresh air even coming into the homes And we don't detox enough. Remember growing up, we didn't have AC. It was windows open the whole time.
All the time. Yep.
So we think we've gotten so sophisticated and we lock up in the AC and we're just recycling all these things. So like you said, get out, connect with nature, look at the trees, look at the sky, look at the animals. God is everywhere. You know, I know also, in addition, having healthy friendships, I think is a big plus. Nature and sunshine, fresh air in the home, we mentioned. High frequency music, you need to be careful also of the music that you're listening to. More exercise, more dancing, more laughter, more traveling. Of course, we kick in the fruits and the veggies, the water. Detoxing, you know, again, growing up back home, we used to do washouts and these things a couple times for the year. And that's when we were eating good food, Louis. You're muted.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. We don't take what you call the bitter sulfur and all them things, Donna, anymore. And
oil.
the cod liver oil that is also good for, oh my goodness, we don't do these things anymore.
And the food is worse. So
yeah,
you see how we are part of the problem. So, you know, we don't have to just accept it. We can still do these things. You know, so there's a lot that we can do to elevate.
Yes.
But don't just think of health as just eating. You've changed your eating habits. You have to change your mental habits.
Absolutely.
You have to change those thoughts of fear and envy and complaining. And you know, complaining for traffic, you're complaining for the job, you're complaining for the neighbor, you know, there's some people that's all they're doing all day long. Okay. Unforgiveness, people.
That's the big
we
one.
Gotta at least forgive people, you know, write a journal. I start off by asking forgiveness for myself, and then I ask for forgiveness for my husband and his ancestors, the children, the father of my children and his ancestors, my mother, father, their ancestors, and I ask for forgiveness on that level, my children and their future generations. So I do like a half of my page is forgiveness, and the other half is gratitude. Thank you for my amazing life. We have to call our life how we want it. If you call your life, boy, I have a boring life, then that's what it's going. You're going to get more of that. You have to speak life, but not just verbally. You have to, so that's what people get tripped up. You're speaking into God's universe on a mental level and on a emotional level. Remember that combination, that science combination. And I've heard people say like, well, if I don't speak it, if I'm just thinking negative, thinking fear, it's not harming me, but it's harming us. It's bringing sickness and sadness to us. So we need to, it's 2024. We have to step up a little bit and understand how our thoughts. So I always say we are our first enemy and our first savior.
Yes.
Because when we change our thoughts, that's us saving ourselves. And only I can't think for you, Belinda, Lois, Dr. Bevon. No one can think for us. So when we start to change and say, okay, I've been thinking negative for 30 years, but I want to change, and you capture those thoughts, and then now you start to prime and you do some mantras and declaration, whatever your favorite verse is, and you think about the goodness around you. You bless your car. No matter what it looks like, you bless your home, even if it's a tiny efficiency, you bless it, you bless everything, you bless your employer. We have to start blessing out more than just complaining. And it makes a big difference because it basically signaled to God that, oh, she's blessing. She has gratitude. He has gratitude. So here's more to be thankful for. Because when we complain and worry, it's saying, God, I don't have enough, or I don't have the faith that I'm gonna get this. Faith is the opposite of fear. And so we have to just watch these little thoughts that we think are not important, because it's bringing sickness, and they're building more hospitals. They're building more jails, because they can count on people living and thinking and feeling fear.
That's right.
And that's part of sending out that positive energy that Belinda talked about. We have to send out positive energy all the time, that Donna, in every single thing that we do, is keep sending out that positive energy. And what you're doing, you're drawing the spirit, you're empowering that spirit that is in you to give you more, as you said, to give you more, to draw, to get stronger with you. Your faith develop and get stronger because you're doing what he asks, what he require of us to do.
Right.
She's giving out that positive energy. If it's a positive energy, that means you're showing love, you're giving love, you're not just speaking in the word or just taking the word, but you're doing the action that goes with it, because faith without works is nothing. So all of that is what is required of us as people to do to one another. You know, there's so many things. There's one thing that that I do every year, at least 2 or 3 times a year. And I don't see, every time I go into a bus, I never see any one of us. I grew up, some of my best time in Jamaica, we have those all-age school, or in here we call them primary school. Some of my best time in school was when the big red bus come to give blood. I was excited as a kid. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna give blood. I still give blood at least 2 or 3 every time. My wife will tell you, every time we're driving, I'm turning the car. There goes the bus. Let's go do some blood. Let's go give some blood. But you're giving up yourself, and it is so cool, because guess what? That blood will leave from here and it's going into Palestine to save a life. We don't even know where these bloods go. It goes into Iraq to save a life. It goes back to Jamaica to save a life, because people need blood every day. You ever see a guy jump off the bike, or he get crashed in a bike? He lost all the blood. So he need blood immediately to get him back up and running. And so when we give up ourselves like this, oh my goodness, the Spirit of God just really emboldened us to continue to do more. But I don't see, as I said, when I go into one of these buses to give blood, 2 or 3 times a year, I try to make sure, because you can't go every month, you got to get some rest. But, but I don't see none of us doing it. Why is that so?
We're there for sure. When you find it in those communities are usually thriving. And unfortunately, we don't see them in the underserved communities, but they're there. You can take that 800 number and send them a zip code, and perhaps they'll make their way there. But I'm too with you on the value of giving blood, because 2 reasons. It's a natural and a spiritual law we're working here. And I move and lead with there's power in the blood. So you can take my blood, because I'm under blood, and it's going to move to places I could never do. So we're right. Be obedient. Give the blood, because there's power. We're under it, and it's going to do things that we never thought it would do. So I'm with you. Turning that car, going, hey, there's blood. Hey, there might be a gift too. Don't act like there's not a gift involved most times, but there's a little gift involved that I can appreciate. But that's a part of it. But that's so important. And some people might think, well, I don't know about that. I can't trust that. Even if you're skeptical, because sometimes we have ourselves being skeptical. One of the things I wanted to also share was taking that, what you said, Lewis, and moving into it. Do it anyway. If you're skeptical about hatha yoga, which is the exercise part that I teach, try it anyway. If it's something new, if it's you're skeptical about it, if it's yoga, if it's acupuncture, if it's sound therapy, but if it seems to have more positive than negatives, try it. So give the blood. Be sure to have a journal, a symptom journal, track your symptoms. So when it's time to go and talk about your health and wellness, you have it written down so you can track what's connected, what activities are connected to the ailments and the feelings. Try gratefulness in this way. Be forgiving, because forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for us, because we don't want to make sure we strike up disease in our body. So I want people to have an open mind. Try, because the best angle is the triangle. So let's do it. We don't lose that way. We win.
Belinda, I know you've got to rush off to another forum real quick. You touched on yoga. Let me tell you how many times I've been cussed out by people just by mentioning that word. And so those are again what minorities stay away from, and why minorities are number one with health issues, because we stay away from the holistic, anything meditation, anything yoga. Give us a quick, just a 30-second on yoga if you can.
There's many forms of yoga, and let's know that what I produce is holy yoga. So while we're moving into poses, yoga is going to give you what you put in. And I chose yoga because I found peace on the mat. Yoga simply connects the mind, body, and the spirit. Which spirit is your choice? My spirit is going to be the creator God. So yoga gives you, this is the only modality, connects breath work with moving. So when you always raise up and stretch your body, you're inhaling. And when you're coming down, you're exhaling. And when you're sitting there and being still, you pray to whomever you pray to, but we pray to God and we ask our creator to do the great exchange. We take out negativity, we bring in peace. So yoga does the great exchange with the deep breathing, lowering the cholesterol, lowering the heart rate, allowing us to talk to the creator, being the spirit, and stretch our muscles and our tendons, and we always leave better. That's what yoga does. It's a body benefit all the way around. Even though it's rooted in Indian practices, we change it over. We switch it, and we know that whatever we put in, we're intentional about it. We ask for the things that God asks us to do, and we move our bodies and create such a body benefit. It's amazing.
Yes, we're gonna find out where do you do your yoga, Belinda?
You can find us at Metro Health East on Fridays at 10 a.m. for yoga. It's 45-minute chair and standing yoga. It's an easy yoga, great for beginners, for if you're intermediate just as well, or it's your first time, come out and join us. I promise you, you'll leave better. You can also go online to the societyofwellbeing.com and check us out. We'll be posting some videos. You'll see some more breathing techniques there just as well. You'll get to know about our wellness retreats, our seminars, what school we're going to be to next, as we go into the school and talk to the children, because we have to get that rooted in their spirit, in their mind, on how to live well. So you can find all those things on Instagram at the Society of Wellbeing. We're building more and more platforms so that you can find us and you can be well with us.
Thank you, Belinda. I know you've got to jump on. We just want to say, if these practices were even being taught at a school level, just think our kids wouldn't need ADD, all the meds and all these things that's pushing them. So we have to wake up, people, and realize that there are other alternatives, holistic ways to heal yourself, and not just take pills, because once you start with one pill, it's going to have some kind of result, something that leads to another. Sometimes we do need that, but it shouldn't be the first. We have to also realize that we have to change some things about ourselves. We have to change it. We have to work. And you see, we can easily take the drink and the smoke to get, to cover up the trauma, the whatever it is that happened to us, but it's gonna always still be there. So let's do the work. Let's do the holistic and the spiritual practices to elevate our health, elevate our wealth and wellness. Dr. Bev, did you have any last words?
Good evening, everyone. Just a very powerful and meaningful subject, and something that we, at this time is January, so it's something that we all can profit from. in terms of moving forward, getting that cleansing and that cleansing of the spirit, the body as well. So that's definitely an awesome, timely subject. And thanks, Miss Belinda, for sharing.
My pleasure, for sure.
Thank you, ma'am. I learned today that there is creative rest. I learned today that there's mental rest. I learned today that there's physical rest. I learned today that there's spiritual rest. I learned today there's social rest. I learned today that there's emotional rest. I learned today that there is sorry rest. I thank you for your knowledge. I thank you for your wisdom. And we pray God blessing on your business and continue to do the good work. And we appreciate you. On behalf of all of us here at Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network, all our listeners, and all our colleagues, we say thank you so much. And Donna, it is it for me for the evening. God bless you, my dear, and we'll catch up with you next week at the same time.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Caribbean Diaspora Vibes.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great night, everybody, as we continue right here on CRR FM. Coming up next, we're going to have